desire.
Good morning, you're listening to 92.7 Arrow FM, and this is the Nothing Personal Show with Nikki King. We broadcast every week. We're sort of a woman-centric business show. We do have some men on, though. We have men on who can provide services that women are interested in. And we are part of the Wairarapa Women in Business networking group, which is on Facebook, and you can join that. There's about 650 women in that group now, and we have 2 meetups. We have one on the first Friday of the month at Clareville Bakery in Carterton. And they do some wonderful food down there, cronuts being one of them. So, you know, if you want to get down there at 8:30 on the first Friday of the month and join all the business women who are networking there, you know, you get some help with whatever you're struggling with. So that's pretty cool. And on the third Friday of the month, we sort of catering for the Masterton end of Wairarapa. And we meet at Don Luciano at 8:30 on the third Friday of the month. And same again, networking and solving problems for people. And we get a good turnout at both of those. And you're welcome to join the group if you've got a business or you're thinking of starting a business. It's Wairarapa Women in Business. We do have a website that sort of brings all this stuff together. It's wairapabusinesswomen.co.nz. I'd like to give a big shout out to my sponsor, Wairarapa Osteopathy, and the marvellous Jane Burns. She's got 2 locations, one in Carterton, at the, I think it's a Wairarapa, it's the health clinic that used to be the Self-Heal Clinic on the main road. And she's also at the Self-Heal Clinic, which is now on Lincoln Road in Masterton, and she can solve all your aches and pains and stuff, look at how you're moving. And we're also sponsored by my business, which is Fuzzbox Designs, and we do digital marketing and websites, you know, that kind of thing. So anything really creative. Anyway, this morning I have got a really interesting guest. This must be the newest resident I've had on my show, and it's Regina Catchwella. Good morning, Regina.
Good morning, Nikki. Thank you for having me on your show.
Would you like to tell us a bit about your business?
Oh, how much time do you have?
Heaps. An hour.
So I'm from Courageously Free, and yeah, I just moved down here 6 days ago.
Wow, that's pretty new.
Yeah. And so I really inspire people to live a bit differently rather than living a bit outside of the box. And so there's a couple of modalities that I use to help with that. And one of them is my husband and I became digital nomads in 2013 when we were living in Wellington. Yeah. So I was living in Wellington for 5 years after moving there from San Francisco.
Yep.
Living in working in the film and animation industry.
Yep.
And I was just getting burnt out. I was tired.
You can do these days, can't you? Especially if you're one of those people that we were just talking about taking on projects.
Taking on too many projects. But I at that point in time, I just felt like, what else is there? What else is there to life? Am I going to be working 70 hours a week for the rest of my life? Am I going to miss my kids' birthdays? At that time, I didn't have children. Am I going to be able to see my partner on the weekends? I was just really, really tired, and I loved what I did. I was around the most amazing people, but I needed something more, and so I started searching online to find different ways to create alternative income, passive income, whatever. And so I started working online with my husband, and he's like, oh, so now you can make money online, so why don't we travel? So I'm like, oh, okay. And it's totally, I think everything that we've done totally defied, what you're supposed to do. We had 2 houses at the time.
Yep.
We packed up and left within 2 months, and we just decided, we traveled for 3 years. While running our online business, teaching at workshops for social media and all that stuff. Ended up coming back to New Zealand. We followed summer for 3 years.
Oh, that would have been nice.
So naturally, I'm thinking, I need someplace warm. So we moved to the Hawke's Bay.
Good choice.
Oh, it was beautiful, amazing. And so we were still running our business, doing social media online. When I had my daughter, because when we decided to come back, we got pregnant.
Yeah.
And and I guess it just, everything kind of happened the way it was supposed to. But I was really struggling being alone with my family and running an online business.
And I think that's difficult. I know there's other women in the group that I should introduce you to that do that. Can be quite isolating, eh?
Yeah, it's really isolating. So part of what I wanted to do is to really find a niche within the whole digital marketing phase area, because there's just so much in there, and also provide support for others who are doing the same thing, because it is quite lonely and isolating. And so you know, people have this grand idea of us traveling, and wow, you've been here and here and here and here, and you've stayed in the crappiest place. Am I allowed to say that?
Yes, that's fine. This is New Zealand. It's not quite the BBC.
Yeah, true. In the crappiest places, you stay in the most amazing, you know, mansions, but you know, it can still be isolating. So right now, what I do is I help people craft clever content through content marketing strategy. And so I have workshops that I'm running right now. I'm going to start doing how-to workshops, online workshops next year. I also have a VIP Zoom group for small business owners, for those who, you know, work at home and have kids.
Yes.
So at the moment we meet fortnightly. I might kind of switch it up to do it monthly, because I have the two webinars, and just create that community. Incidentally, when I was in Napier, I went to a small business meetup and met this lady who you know, was looking for social media help, and it was actually quite interesting meeting her, because we became friends, and she started asking me these really interesting questions, and I was like, oh, okay. And these questions are questions that open up possibilities. So a lot of times we, you know, ask ourselves, what's wrong with me?
Yes.
What am I doing wrong? You know, how come I can't do anything right? And these are questions we ask ourselves subconsciously or consciously, and we don't necessarily answer them, but kind of, you know, to get a bit woo on here, you know, the universe kind of answers for you. So these questions that she was asking me were questions like, well, what is right about me that I'm not seeing? Or what am I doing right that I'm not acknowledging? Yeah. So they're questions that open up possibility. And this lovely lady who, we're still friends now. These questions come from a modality called Access Consciousness. Access Consciousness is a set of tools that provide, that empower you to be able to find out, to know who you really are, because we actually have our own answers. Yes. We know already, but we haven't been taught to utilize our power in that area. Yep. Another modality or another tool that Access uses is called the Access Bars. Yep. And it was really powerful for me, especially being a mother, not knowing anyone. I had a ton of clutter in my head. Yep. Like I'm sure most of you do if you're hearing this.
I was like that yesterday, actually. It's like that day the days where you get everything going on in your head and you can't really sort out.
You can't sort it out.
No, you can't sort it out.
And you're like, WTF? Like
exactly.
Like I'm going crazy. You think you're insane, and you know I think that's a lot where anxiety comes from. You're down on yourself and all that stuff. But what Access Bars actually is a hands-on modality where you touch lightly 32 points on your head that can help clear thoughts and emotions and beliefs that you've stored up for all these years, decades and decades of years. And when this lady brought it up to me, I was like, oh, okay, it's just another one of those woo-woo things. And I'm like, okay, well, you know what? I was really interested in the questions that she was asking, and so I decided to take a class with her. And it was the very first. I had never had what they call get your bars run. I've never had it done. And during the class, you receive 2 sessions, and you give 2 sessions as part of the practical training. Yeah. Hey guys. Oh, okay. Excuse me.
So we are here live.
That's all right. Don't worry. These things happen.
Whoa, that's what happens when you're live. My phone just started talking with my live.
That was weird, wasn't it?
Okay.
So we were up to the bars. You were getting the bars in the training session.
In the training session, and usually when I'm in a workshop or a class, I feel really exhausted because of all the information thrown to us. And this is the first time I had learned about it, and I felt really, really light. And I was like, okay, there's something about this. And I started in the community. We gift sessions, or we do bar swaps.
Yeah.
And so we gift and we receive. And I started doing more of those and started running bars on my friends' heads. And I started getting phenomenal results. One lady a few weeks ago, she was saying that before I told her about it, she was contemplating suicide and even planning it, and even to the smallest detail. And she said, once you told me about it and you ran my bars, I haven't been thinking about any of these thoughts. And it had been about a month and a half, and I was running her bars again. And one of my friends in Papamoa, her son has a bit of anxiety, and she does herself, and so she let me run it on her son, because you can run it on kids as well. And just the results were amazing. And I know Access Bars is seemingly irrelevant to the whole content marketing thing, but it actually helped me clear out my head to figure out what I wanted to do with my business and help other business women. So the whole idea for me personally is being courageously free, is being able to be you in all areas of your life.
Well, I actually think that as a business person, you do actually have those things are important as well. Clearing your mind and keeping fit and being healthy.
Yeah.
They help you run your business, don't they? Those kind of things. And I have actually had a bars treatment, so
I was gonna say, I wanted to turn this on you, because you have had the bar session, and so what did you think of it before and then during and after, really?
I'm a natural skeptic, probably like you were when you first came across it. So and I had a client who did cranial osteopathy. Not cranial osteopathy, what was it called?
Craniosacral
therapy. Craniosacral therapy. And I used to go for the sessions. She was very lovely. It was very relaxing. And then she said one week, I'm going to do this new technique I've got called bars. And that was actually better than the cranial sacral therapy, because it did actually clear your brain. And I was quite sceptical about it, but I did come out feeling a lot lighter. So, it is a very interesting concept, and I did feel more organised in my thoughts at the time. So I think it's probably something that do you need to keep topping it up?
We've built up so many feelings and thoughts over so many years, and in fact 99% of what we feel and perceive and think isn't even ours. And so it's good to just clear it out.
Yeah, that's right.
The interesting thing with babies and kids is that their bars runs really fast, because they don't have all of the junk that we have in our head. So I go, well, I haven't been doing it regularly, but I'm hoping someone here would like to do a bar swap with me. And, if I could teach more people, I'm going to be doing workshops coming early next year here in Wairarapa. So I would love to teach more people and grow the community, because I think it really... it's a game changer. Yeah,
there's so many, actually, you've only been here a week. There's so many people I can put you in touch with that do these kind of treatments. The lady that I had my craniosacral therapy with was called Beryl Roche.
Okay.
So she's around. I'm sure she would do a swap with you. No, that's Wairarapa osteopathy.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but she's around. I'm sure she might do a swap with you. So
yeah, would love to. Because the cool thing is when you're gifting a session, you're also if whatever clears for the person that you're working on, if you have had the same thoughts and feelings and all that stuff, it also clears for you as well. So you're almost receiving while you're gifting. So it's just a really, really cool thing.
It's good to sort of be with people and swap things like that, and it's just a good karma as well, isn't it? Yeah.
Well, I'm finding now we've come from such I've been taught to be really competitive, always be the first one, but coming now I'm realizing that really collaboration is what grows.
That's right.
Us and everyone around us, and you see far better results that way, in this case, and also in content marketing too. There's for small businesses, the cheapest way to market is to have influencers promote your products.
That's right.
Or even if I collaborate with you, well, we're growing our audiences. They're similar, but we're still different.
Exactly, that's right. We sort of come from different. And if you get a circle of people that can jointly market each other. That's a bit like the Women in Business group where I found you yesterday.
which is amazing, because I just saw that group, and the first post you had in there was haven't sorted a guest.
I know, I'm so disorganized.
Well, I was like, oh, cool, like I can do that. Why not?
Yeah.
But even your company is Fuzzbox.
Yes, that's right.
And you do social media, and you build websites and do web design and logos and all of that. And so a lot of times people are, I know this is kind of two different topics, talking about bars and this. A lot of people think that digital marketing is just, one straight line where you have so many different channels that you're working with. And even though you are in the same space that I am in that sense, your niche is specific to what you want to do and what you're really good at.
That's right. Whereas my stuff tends to focus on women and small businesses, and it's not so online as yours is.
Right.
So that's whereas, people who want to do online would probably be better to come to you because you've been doing that for such a long time and you've got that expertise.
Right.
Yeah, so there is an overlap, definitely. And I actually find that where you do start collaborating with people and you put people in touch, that's really good. It builds relationships. Yeah, that's really cool. So, Digital Nomad, that's a really good title. I want to know what you got up to when you were nomading around.
What did I get up to? All sorts of stuff I can't say. No. Where do you want me to start? Because
there might be some women who have thought about being a digital nomad. So what does that involve? Firstly?
Traveling, not having a home. But I think it's just, in anything you do, it's really being able to design your own life.
Yes.
And that sounds woo-woo, but that's pretty much exactly what it is. But a lot of it really comes down to, there's a ton of personal development that I had done over the years, listening to, the usuals, Think and Grow Rich.
Yeah.
Tony Robbins and all those people. And really understanding that we can live a courageously free life.
Yeah.
If we really believe it.
Yeah.
And as woo-woo as that is, you can set steps in place to be able to concrete steps to get you to where you want to get to.
Yeah.
So with our specific, I'll just give you the backstory of how we actually became a digital nomad, where it all started. When I was working and burning out, trying to find out what I wanted to do, I ended up getting an ad. I think it was on Facebook. It was Facebook or Google, and there was this lady who was doing the same thing, and I started following her and watching what she was doing, and she was doing webinars in Puerto Rico in her bikini, and I was like, oh, that's a little crazy, isn't it? But I kept watching her, and she was really, really consistent, and I hopped on her webinars about how to live this life, and she was just promoting tools to be able to help people do the same thing. And to be honest, what my first suggestion is, if there's something that you love in your life that that you can talk about all day long, all week long, all year long, maybe there's something in that you can leverage and bring online, because the internet is so powerful, and this whole why wouldn't you leverage the digital economy?
Yes.
And so you can take what because in that area, if you love it that much, you definitely know a lot more than other people who kind of know it or don't know it.
That's right.
How can you bring your knowledge to the internet space and teach these people? I mean, there might be people who know a lot more than you, but don't compare yourself to them, because there are a lot of people that you can actually help from where you are.
That's right. And people tend to look at those people that are just slightly above them, don't they, and sort of want to move to that level from what I've seen, because I've learned musical instruments all of my life, and I always give myself a person that I'm going to be like, that's my muse. And when I started to learn the trumpet, which I only learned the trumpet at the age of 25, I was like, I wanted to be like the girl who sat on first trumpet in the brass band, and it wasn't anybody famous, it was Jill Berry. She was the principal trumpet player. She was just sat that bit above me. She was real, and she was there, and I could possibly touch her. I wanted to sound like her. So I spent all of my time trying to sound like this girl, which I did eventually. I can't play as technically well as she can, but I can make the sound similar to how she sounds. So, and I think people do, if they're achievable. It's like go to the gym and somebody just that slight bit above you makes you more competitive with them. So I think being real and being passionate is a really, really important thing. And that sounds like what you're saying.
Yeah, and it all really comes down to, what are your values?
Yeah.
Because I've applied my values in every area of my life to be able to get to where I am. And I actually like what you were saying about, learning the trumpet and looking up to someone. It's because, you really want to be next to three types of people. People you look up to, your peers, and people that you can teach.
That's right.
And so it's amazing that you can have someone to look up to kind of have direction, but also have peers that you can connect with.
Yep.
And then learn how to teach people. And in the end, it comes down to being your authentic self. And I know that word's been thrown around a lot.
Yeah.
But that's what it comes down to, is like, if you're learning from someone, learn as much as you can and emulate them, but then also learn how to create your own rhythm.
That's right. And I think a lot of women, we've talked about this a lot on this show with numerous women, is that women often lack the confidence to believe that they're good at things. But there's a lot of imposter syndrome around women. So they get to this stage and they don't believe they can teach someone else because they don't feel they're good enough. And it's like, why? But you just got to tell yourself, I think, a few times.
And you just need to be one step ahead of the person learning.
Exactly.
And if for some reason they catch up to you and, they find someone else to learn from, that's okay. Then there's one more person that can learn from you. And,
you've got them on the way. They wouldn't have started without you.
Right. Exactly. And if you're working online, you have way more people who are you can reach out to.
Exactly.
That you can teach.
Because my experience has been, I've never done vlogging or blogging until my coach at CrossFit suggested that my journey might be inspirational. And I was like, oh, me? No, I don't believe it. How could I be inspirational? I was 132 kg and I couldn't walk to the end of my drive 4 months ago. It's surprising he was right, and people have stopped me in the street and said I watch it, and you don't realise how many people you actually do reach out with the online.
Yeah, they're always watching you.
Yeah.
They're always watching you.
And you don't realise that you could be inspirational to someone. You just think, my little old life, I don't think so.
Yeah.
But it's right what you say about the passion. Yeah. So bars. You've got into... I'm hopping around all over the place.
It's all connected somehow.
It is. It's the universe. No, but it is. So you're looking to give that treatment to people in Featherston and the broader Wairarapa?
Yeah, the broader Wairarapa. At the moment, I'm mobile. I'm very mobile, so I can go to you until I find... I'd like to... have a day at a clinic just to start and then just be mobile for a bit. So, I'm just looking to give people sessions. Ideally, the best amount of time is 75 minutes, but I offer 30, 60, and 90-minute sessions as well. And people ask me, how do I prepare for my bar session? Just be there, show up, and be willing to receive. And if you're not willing to receive, then, nothing will happen. If you're willing to receive, the worst that can happen is that you feel like you've had a great massage. The worst that can or the best that can happen is that your life changes.
That's right.
And so...
That's right. Yeah. So you need to... you've got a page for your bar's work yet?
Not yet, but if you follow... I have a Facebook page, Attitude of Gratitude.
Yep.
And reginapaula.com is it's active right now. And it's what I'm developing right now. I literally,
Gosh, exciting.
I'm really starting this part out in the open right now. So you'll see my journey, which I guess is another good lesson. Start from where you are. That's
brilliant. So if you're in the Women in Business group and you'd fancy meeting up with Regina for a bar session, just get in touch with her. She's in our group. And if you've got a clinic, would you like to hook up with somebody who's got a clinic?
Oh, yeah, would love to.
Yeah, so if you've got a clinic out there, if you're watching, ladies, I know a few of you have got spare rooms and things in your clinics. Regina would love to hook up with you. So just give her a shout on Facebook because I know she's on the...
I'm in the group.
Exactly, she's in the group.
If you find me anywhere, Courageously Free, you'll be able to find me. The other thing too is just this week I'm going to be offering 50% off sessions for this two 75-minute sessions for 50% off.
Oh, that's good. That's good value. So take advantage of that. I'll click that offer to the top of the group for you. So that should work. Hey, that should be good for you. Okay, right. I'm going to play some music now. We're in the middle of the show, so I'm going to pick something from my Kiwi grassroots music. I think I'm going to play some Dream State Empire just because I feel like that today. And these guys are in Wellington. The lead singer of this band used to be in a band called Free the Cats, and they did play up in Wairarapa a few years ago for our EP launch, when we had an EP launch. And Nick is a great singer. This is called Black Daylight. That was Black Daylight by Dream State Empire. What a fabulous song. And they are going down to the Battle of the Bands final in Auckland. What an amazing feat that is for them. And they were in our heat when we played a few months ago. It was really cool to hook up with Nick again and say, how are you doing, mate? And they're doing really well. They're a really good band. He's got a smashing voice. Really enjoy it. Anyway, you're listening to 92.7 Arrow FM, and this is the Nothing Personal Show with Nikki King. And we're sponsored by Wairarapa Osteopathy and Fuzzbox Designs. And in the studio this morning, I've got possibly one of Wairarapa's newest residents on the show. She's also a businesswoman. She's been a digital nomad, and she does access bars and all sorts of other things. And it's Regina Catchwella. Hello.
How's it going?
I know, it's
you said
great.
My last name correctly.
I try to do that, because it's very important to get people's names right, I think.
I feel like Americans butcher my last name, but here in New Zealand and in other countries, they seem to say it the right way.
Well, I think there's a lot of people with names, and a lot of the Maori names are quite hard to pronounce, so people try and take time to get your name correct. Well, a lot of people do anyway. So yeah, mine's easy, it's King. Although I have been asked how to spell it. King.
How else would you spell it?
They have asked me how to spell King, and it's King if you don't know. It's pretty easy. I don't know why they're working in call centres if they can't spell King.
Funny.
So tell us a little bit more. So you worked as a digital nomad. What countries did you visit?
Yeah, incidentally, I didn't visit as many countries as most people would because we stayed in each area. We intended to stay in each area for about 2 to 3 months at a time just to soak in the local vibe, and we wanted to live as locals. So we've been to the States, several times, of course. In Mexico, we lived in Bali for 6 months, the Philippines, Europe, all over. We stayed in Prague for about two and a half months, but we did an 18-week trip all the way down to Valencia, Spain, and back up. And so we went through, all the countries down that way. So.
And you followed the sun.
Yeah, for the most part, we followed the sun.
Nice.
Yeah.
Because when I first came to New Zealand, I'd done double winter, which was really hard.
God. Especially down in this area.
Yeah. Well, we came from winter in the UK, and I'm from northwest England, it rains all the time anyway.
Yeah.
So and then we came to New Zealand in May, and we went through another winter. So by the time the summer came, we were like, yes, summer, bring it on. It was hard actually, and it's quite hard to battle that. But following the sun, what did you feel like when you got your first winter? It must have been quite difficult.
When did I get my first winter? Oh, in Hawke's Bay. Actually, it wasn't too bad.
It's not too bad.
My first winter was back in Hawke's Bay. And the place that we were staying in was well insulated, incidentally.
Yeah.
Surprise.
Oh, nice. So you came over from California.
Came over from California, moved to Wellington in 2009, and from San Francisco, had never met a New Zealander at all. Didn't even do my research with Wellington, really. And I was thinking, it'll be fine. I can just take a train to work. No problem. No.
I know. We did the same thing. We actually came to New Zealand without ever visiting at all.
Cool.
So probably was that a similar thing? Yeah, we did the same thing. And it's like, you don't realise how much less public transport there is in this country to Britain. It was,
Oh yeah, especially in the UK for sure.
Yeah.
So I wasn't disappointed, but my life, I had to just make some changes in my mindset with New Zealand living, and it's quite interesting. And I think the first 5 years of me. Well, the 5 years of me being in Wellington, people would say, how's New Zealand? How's it going? And I'm like, I like it enough. I like it enough because, I was working so much.
Yes.
That when I did have time off, I would travel.
Yeah.
I would go home to the States, or I would go somewhere else.
Yeah.
And so I never really spent much time in New Zealand until we started becoming a digital nomad. And when we would come back, we would do touristy things. And it was funny when we moved to Hawke's Bay, and my husband and I were driving back and forth from here in Wairarapa to Hawke's Bay, I was like, oh wow, there's actually a lot of farmland here. I knew it because I'd done long drives before, but it really hit me.
Yeah.
I really got the chance to just sit and look around and take it all in, and now it's my life is so much different than it was before. So
yeah it is quite interesting that, because I remember, I think I've talked about this on this show before, we had never been to New Zealand before. We bought a car about a week after we arrived, and we decided to follow the signs to Masterton. We just decided that's where we were going to go in our car for the first ever ride.
Yep.
Didn't realise there was a massive big hill between here and Masterton, and I was driving the brand new car, never driven before, over this windy hill, which is quite fun. And what struck us was how little traffic there was once you got out of Wellington and over the hill.
What a massive change, isn't it?
And then even quieter as you get beyond Masterton.
Yeah, and it's really not that far away either.
No, actually. It's like driving that amount of distance in the UK, being a traffic jam at least 5 times.
Yeah, it would take 2 hours to get I don't know. I would say 30 miles or something, but in the States, at least,
you can do
ridiculous.
that. Yeah.
Not as bad as the Philippines, though. I think there was, when we were in the Philippines, we were going to a family party, and it took us 2 hours to get somewhere, which could have taken us 15 minutes to drive without traffic. It was...
Oh, man. Do you think it would be quicker to walk or still...
Probably about the same amount of time.
Wow. That's slow, isn't it? I mean, we get caught up in all these busy lives, don't we? And driving and, yeah. But it must have been exciting to go from country to country, though.
Yeah, I mean, it was a lot of our decision to go to different countries was from the workshops that we were teaching, and also because every 3 months, we were with this group every 3 months, we would meet and have an event. And then after that, we'd be like, okay, where do we want to go now? And then we'd meet those people again 3 months afterwards. So that's why a lot of our stay was in the States.
Yeah.
Obviously, because my family was there. But if there was an event, we would fly there and then fly to my parents. Or we also did a trip in an RV from Los Angeles to Orlando. And so that took us about 9 days to get there. And then after that, we went. Where did we go? I think we did a cruise to the Caribbean, and
wow.
we went to Panama. We lived in Bocas del Toro and on the Caribbean side of Panama, and Costa Rica. Oh, that's an interesting story. Can I share that?
Yes, of course you can.
So Costa Rica was one of the first countries outside of the States that we visited. Mind you, my husband, he's from New Zealand, so we can only stay a certain amount of time in the States.
Yeah.
3 months at a time. He's got his visa waiver. So we were in Costa Rica, and then ready to move on to Panama. And man, so we took a shuttle from San Jose to the border. And we had to get out, go to the immigration or whatever. It's a small, tiny little office. And you literally carry your luggage across this rickety bridge, broken bridge. The trains don't work or anything. And there's holes in these bridges. And that's how you cross to get to Panama.
Oh my.
And you go to this like shady looking, little office where they stamp your passport and they let you in. And it was just like, oh God, I would have never thought that I would ever have to do that. It was quite interesting.
Oh my God. I wouldn't have crossed the bridge, I don't think. Was it high? Was it high?
Oh, it was a proper bridge.
Nah, I'd been like, oh my goodness. I don't like heights at all.
Just think of the worst bridge in New Zealand. I don't know what the worst of the worst bridge is, but yeah.
So that must have been a bit scary.
It was scary, but it's interesting because our friends that we visited that were down there, they had been traveling for quite a few years, and they did it all the time, and they had a daughter. At that time, she was, I think, 7 years old. Yeah. And so, yeah, we have a lot of really interesting stories.
I think you do, don't you? I mean, you've done a few things in life. You've got all these stories racked up, ready for... I remember once in the UK, there's this... bridge in Wales, which is an aqueduct, it's got a canal going across it, so it's like up in a canal, and there's got a very short, very narrow path, and then these railings, and it says these railings are not the standard, so you have to watch your kids. Well, I had this thing in my head that my child was going to go through these, so I couldn't cross this bridge. And it was just like, ooh. Yeah, so your life changes when you have kids. You've just recently had a child, haven't you?
Yeah. Oh, I love her to death, but man, your life changes so much.
I know. So how has that affected your business?
So much. I mean, at the time when I was pregnant, I was still running my podcast, The Art of Living Courageously Free, and I kept doing more interviews, and I never really got to actually producing the content to release because I was just tired, and there's a lot of stuff going on in my head. I had no family. I didn't know what to do, and we were in this new town, didn't know anybody. So it was really difficult, and in my mind, I wanted to be able to network online, in person, and so I was trying to go to different groups while I was pregnant, and I think I really needed rest or support or something at that time because it really does change you. And I think that's a lot of the reason why I wanted to create these Zoom calls for business owners and do the bars, because it all, it's just that support that you need. And earlier you were talking about, Nikki, about this being a relationship business.
Yes.
And that's just what it is. And I'm noticing it more and more in, this provincial towns, is that everything is word of mouth.
Yeah, it's all relationship based.
It's all relationship based, which is an interesting point. I'm kind of veering away for a second.
No, that's okay.
It's talking about relationships because we're so used to knowing how to create relationships in person.
Yes.
And part of what I wanted to do to be able to create time and money freedom is, how do you create that relationship online?
Yeah, that's quite interesting, isn't it? And I think that's what we tried to do with the Women in Business group. Because groups are quite a good way to do that, really. If you get a special interest group together, because are your communities like that? Where you've got your have you got a community around your online business?
Yeah, I mean, there are different communities that we're a part of. And it makes it a lot easier for you to keep on doing what you're doing, because you don't feel like you're doing the wrong thing.
There's a lot of people in Wairarapa who are one-person entrepreneur business types who do suffer from the same kind of isolation as online people, because there's only that person in their business. So there's a lot of that kind of creativity that goes on in this area. So it might be that you could run seminars for those kind of ladies.
Well, yeah, and that's my intention too. Is what can we create together?
Yeah, that's right.
And a lot of groups that are run by someone tend to be around. People try to leverage the leader's knowledge, which is really helpful. But in our own niches, we still know different things than other people. So if we come together as a group, how can we know information as a whole by leveraging each other?
I mean, that's an interesting thing, because I when we set the group up, I wanted people to. I didn't necessarily want there to be one leader. I wanted lots of leaders to come out of it and to create projects. And it might be something that perhaps you and I could work on getting that happening in the group somehow.
Yeah,
because you've got that experience of running those online communities yourself.
Yeah. Even though it gets pretty stressful, I love doing it. And in one of your other episodes, you were saying that it would be cool to get, women in Featherston, or at least something going on in Featherston as well, that we can all connect with. And I'll have a look into that, because I think it would be really, really interesting, and I'd love to meet local business women. So
look at that! Watch this space, women. There might be something happening in Featherston, and we've been wanting that for a long time. I know that Barbara and all those people down there, Minnie Mutz, and all the other people that are down in the Featherston area would love to meet up. So watch out for Regina. She will she will give you some information on that when she can get round to us, I would imagine. Busy lady. Busy lady, and we're going to the States for 6 weeks. Oh, wow. So I'm like, hi, bye. So I'll be back early next year. But that's always a good time, because what you find is, well, now that New Zealand shuts down for about 6 weeks over the summer anyway. So it's a good time. People start thinking about their business back in February, when they're getting together, and, we could look at doing some good stuff then. Yeah, we'll do some, access consciousness workshops. Exactly. We'll be doing content marketing workshops. Maybe we can collaborate together, Nikki, and do some sort of a general social media, whatever. I'd love to. And Mary Claire, if you're watching, this lady would be absolutely fabulous for 3 Mile. We've got a lovely co-working space in Carterton. Oh, yeah. And they're always looking for people to talk there. So I think you'd be absolutely fabulous for them. So there you go, Mary Claire, she'd love to. Yeah, I was pretty, when I saw, because I was searching for co-working spaces in the area, and I was like, yes, there's something here, because in Hawke's Bay, the idea of co-working space is quite different there, or maybe I hadn't found anything interesting. But when I saw 3 Mile, and they just had a talk about social enterprises recently, and I was like, oh, that's really interesting. Because coming from Hawke's Bay, I was with the social enterprise there, helping youth, vulnerable youth, get jobs and create their own businesses. Yep. So I'm like, oh, this is maybe something that I want to look into. Well, I did a talk back on 10 things you should know about social media for your it was Facebook, I think, for your business. Yep. About a couple of months ago, and it was quite well attended. So you know, there's lots of people interested in what you've got to offer. Cool. So definitely hook up with them. Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, cool. So Mary Claire, I know you're sort of listening out, because you wanted me to mention the fact that Go Carterton are offering a couple of grants. They're for small business in Carterton. Now, I probably need to pull that up off Facebook just to mention it. It's a Go Carterton Fund. The Sorry, guys, I'm just going to distract you for a minute, but I'll do it while I'm thinking about it.
And you can do it while I'm looking at your pretty nails.
Oh, yeah. Changes Medi-Spa, these.
I love the color.
Chrome polish. New. Yeah. It's new. It's lovely. And she said,
is that the powder?
Yeah, that goes over the top. Beautiful. And, you know, it's so... Because I type a lot, I just like having nice nails. It sort of breaks the day up a bit, you know?
Your money makers.
Exactly. That's right. And today I've got a logo to do and a poster and a website and a vlog. I've got to do my vlog. Alan, yes, I have. I've got one ready. I've just not edited it. So Go Carterton want to encourage and support the growth of existing businesses in the town and the attraction of new businesses to Carterton. So they've created a Go Carterton Growth Fund. It's a contestable grant that's available to members and non-members to boost their business. They'll make 2 awards of $1,000 each twice per year. So you can go on to cartertonnz.com and have a look at that, and all the details are there. And you could actually get $1,000 for your business for a small idea, enterprise, something that's going to help your business. And that's really welcome.
Great.
Yeah, it's really welcome when you're trying to start up or when you've got a bit of a cash flow issue or you want to start a new project. It's great, isn't it, to have a bit of injection?
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, we obviously need capital to start
Exactly.
your business. But that's why I like what you're doing, Nikki, with a business group, too, is because when you're starting out, sometimes you just have no money or very little money to start up. So how can you know, if you come to the groups, how can you get ideas to help you build that capital without actually having to, you know, go through traditional means or, you know, just meet other women that can help you.
Because a lot of women, they start from the place where they've just had children and there's nothing in the pot because everything's gone into affording the children, and they just need some... Quite often, a lot of ideas don't actually need a lot of money either, you know, especially the online businesses.
Oh, yeah. The cost is so low. The overheads are so low.
And I sit in my dining room and do all my work. I've no overheads whatsoever apart from my computers. And
phone.
And your phone, yeah.
Like,
phone.
I find that I do so much on my phone, and the newer phones are just brilliant. Like, they, you know, they might be more expensive, but you can do so much. And so when my husband he drives most of the time if we go anywhere, I'm just like writing an email, or I'm even doing something on my website, or, you know, it's just so easy.
It's a computer in your pocket.
It's a no-brainer. Yeah, it is a computer.
It's a computer in your pocket, and you can do anything.
Well, you remember the Palm Pilots back in the day?
Yes. Do you know what? I used to work for Reed. I'm going to tell you a little story now, even though this show isn't about me. I used to work for Reed and used to have a handspring Treo, a blue one, and it was the same colour as the first Apple iMacs, you know, and they had that blue colour iMac with their like bubbles. And I sat there and I'm thinking, these things are going to become something. And we had a competition called Project 2000 or something like that. There was some kind of project thing, and everybody in the branch could write that what they thought was going to be the next big thing. And I said, these things are going to be the next big thing.
So cool. I mean,
and you know what they wrote back to me and said? They said, no, people will never give up their traditional laptops. Yeah, sit here going, no.
Dun, dun, dun.
Hello.
Well, if you think of the Palm Pilot compared to what you can get today, right? And the computing power difference. Well, someone had told me, and if you're watching, you can look this up and let me know if I'm right or wrong. The computing power of a Palm Pilot has more computing power than Apollo 13.
Wow. Yeah, it's probably right there.
Yeah. Can you imagine that? How scary. You know, you're in outer space. You're about to go around the moon. Is it Apollo 13?
Yeah, I think it did.
Yeah. You know, you've got this machine that's supposed to swing you around the moon, and it has less computing power than a Palm Pilot.
Yeah, my husband said that they kept a lot of the old chips that were equivalent to the ZX81s in space technology because they were tried and tested. You know, they weren't like buggy or anything.
Yeah.
They kept a lot of that old technology because of that. Yeah, so
that's really cool.
Yeah, no. This is my first computer was a ZX81, and this is infinitely more powerful.
Yeah. So if you can work on that, or mine was an Apple II Plus. When people were asking, because I actually went to school in San Francisco for gaming, visual and game programming, you know, they were asking me what my favorite game was, and I'm like, I'm actually not a gamer, incidentally, but then I do remember playing on the Olympic decathlon on my Apple II Plus, using my 2 fingers to get the little guy running across the screen, the little green guy.
Yeah.
You know, just trying to get him across the line.
Kids these days don't know the bond. I say this to my kids and they go, Really? You know,
Yeah.
you played that, and it's like the forerunner to that, before Atari and everything, was these little games you plugged into your TV that had 2 bats and a dot, and you played tennis with 2 lines.
Brick out, or it's like
Yeah,
brick
yeah.
out. Yeah. Oh, that
I'm
was
like,
so fun.
I know.
Hours wasted.
I know, just playing with two lines and a dot.
Or basic programming. I remember doing basic
Yes.
programming and trying to, output a certain color or a number, and I'm like, oh man, this is so amazing.
Yeah, just saying hello, what is your name?
Yeah.
And you could put your name in it, because hello, whoever that is.
Oh man.
Yeah, I know. And you used to write lines and lines and lines of code just to make it do that.
Yeah. God.
My husband taught us about that. I used to get these magazines, and I used to program the whole code out of the magazine to write programs when I was
cool.
a kid. Yeah, so things have changed.
Quite a bit, and it's really, that just goes to show that, you really can do anything.
You can do
What is
anything.
living courageously free mean to you?
Yeah.
And if you get the right support and the right information around you, or just at least the ideas to start from and start connecting with people, then you can get to where you want to get to.
It's just about planning, isn't it, really? And making steps and goals.
Yeah, planning steps and goals, and also understanding that it might not look the way you want it to, but it'll come in some way or form. And so what would that look like? What would success look like?
Yeah, and I've tended to find that, especially because I've got the band and I've got the women's networking group, and I've got the my business. They've all been going around 4 years, and 4 years
cool.
seems to be the sweet spot where you start to notice a snowball effect. If you've
yeah.
survived the 4 years, you start to get a lot of traction at that stage. So I think it is perseverance as well a lot of the time, just hanging on and persevering.
Yeah, and hey, if your idea doesn't work, okay, that's fine. Then move on and find the next one.
Exactly.
Does it align with your values? Do you love doing it? Can you talk about it all day? And it's okay. It's okay to, there's no success or failure. It's just doing something different, or what was I just hearing it today? Your success and your failure is just something that you expected differently.
Yeah, that's
make
right.
a choice to do something else.
And
what
I think
would that choice be?
And do you feel that having a more positive attitude would make those things happen?
Oh, yeah. And I'm not, like you always see, the law of attraction and positivity quotes, and you don't have to be positive every single time, but it's like you're allowed to be sad and depressed. Get yourself up. How can you, take the next step to be a better person? And I think attitude makes, it'll make it or break it, really.
And probably one way to do that is to come and have some Access bars.
Oh, yeah. Get your bars
nicely
run.
into that there, eh?
Get your bars run. And there is a ton more, body processes involved with access consciousness, which, I'm looking into getting my certification for moving forward, because it's really changed so many lives.
Wow. Everybody, you make sure you get in touch with Regina and get that done, because I've had it done and it is good. It's really good. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
That's cool. Well, we're about 5 minutes from the end now. Every week I ask this question, but you've only been here 6 days, so I haven't
even been here a whole week.
I know. So I will. It'll be all right. Instead of asking what you love about the Wairarapa, I'm going to say, what's been your first impressions of the Wairarapa?
I've been to the Wairarapa many, many times because my family lives here.
Okay.
And I've resisted coming here because I'm thinking, oh God, it's in the middle of nowhere. It's so far away. But I think my first impression now in the 6 days, so much has happened in the 6 days that I feel like I am in the right place. And one of the examples is, I'd have to say you're pretty much my first impression being here.
Oh God.
You're the first person I've interacted with.
It does get better.
But I mean, just you can when I go into different areas, I can actually I can feel if it's right or I feel like Wairarapa kind of takes care of it. Their people, her people.
They do.
And just with the interactions, and you can just tell without even talking to someone. And I think that's really huge, because I struggled in Hawke's Bay for. Nothing wrong with Hawke's Bay. It's just I think Wairarapa's more my steez.
Yeah, I think you'll enjoy it here. I think that the people are very, very caring, and once they accept you, that's it. You're in the niche, and it's a really good place. It's been very good for us. I came, as I say, that day I bought the car and we came over the hill.
Yeah.
I knew the minute I hit into Featherstone that's where I wanted to live.
That's crazy. That's really cool.
It's crazy, but that's how it happened, and that's what we spent 6 months in Upper Hutt. We looked around everywhere that was commutable to Wellington, and we ended up in Wairarapa.
Yeah, that's really cool because we were I was in Wellington for 5 years, and I love Wellington, the people, the culture, the music, the arts, everything about it. The weather, it's not very summery, but it's nice to be close enough.
Yep, you get some good weather in the Wairarapa.
Yeah.
Especially in the middle of summer. It gets very hot. Yeah. So we're coming to the end of our show. Gosh, we've been going for an hour. We've got about 3 minutes. So I'm going to start wrapping it up. Thank you for being an amazing guest. I feel that we'll have a great relationship, and watch this space, guys, because I know there will be more things coming.
Can I give my contact information?
Of course, yes.
Direct contact
Do it now.
information, because I am Googleable, but how about you contact me at hello@reginapaula.com if hello@courageouslyfree.com is too hard to spell.
hello@reginapaula.com. Get in touch. You'd love to network with people, wouldn't you?
Yeah, and I'd love to network with people, find a space to run my bars from, and also, just this week, 50% off sessions, 75-minute sessions.
So I'll put that up on the Women in Business group today. I'll pin that to the top for you. So yeah, get in touch. Have you got a website? You got a career? I saw that.
Courageouslyfree.com.
Yes, courageouslyfree.com.
reginapaula.com forwards to that, but check over time because it's going to be developing.
Yeah, well, that's what we do, isn't it? We forward them on until we get them ready.
Stalk me. No.
Yeah, just banked so big things will be happening. I'm sure we'll see you again.
I hope so.
Maybe on the radio again.
I'm loving this. This is great. Thank you so much for inviting me.
No worries. And I'm so glad I picked you up yesterday.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry I thought you didn't live here.
I know, that was funny. I was like, I'm not in the group anymore. I got kicked out.
She had Napier on her
on my location,
on your profile. Yeah, and we don't allow it. You see, I get in trouble if I let people out the area in. So but lovely to have caught you yesterday.
Yeah.
That was brilliant. Thank you to our sponsors, Wairarapa Osteopathy and Fuzzbox Designs, and thank you to Arrow FM for allowing us to put these shows on, and Wairarapa TV, which is all the brains behind these cameras. That's amazing, and it all goes out at the click of a button, so we're very glad about that. It takes the stress off everybody. But you've been listening to 92.7 Arrow FM, and this is Nothing a Personal Show. I have got Leah Wynn on next week. I think I've got Heather Bannister on next week from Come Sew With Me, who has got the Sewing Machine Museum, so that'll be interesting because she's been nominated for a Kiwi of the Year award, so that'll be really cool. I think she's actually won it, so we've got her coming back in. We've already had her on, so I'll see you next week, same time, same place. Thanks for watching.